Hey, how's it going, Global Hack Week? Welcome to season launch, day 3. We're about close to wrapping it up here. Thanks for joining us today. We're really excited to have a great workshop in store for y'all. Today we'll be joined by our friends from Adobe. If y'all are curious about learning how to build Adobe Express add-ons or just add-ons in general, this is a really great workshop for you to join in on and basically just find out what it's all about and what it takes to get started. We're going to be joined by a developer advocate from the Adobe team by the name of Hamza. I'm not going to go ahead and overdo the introduction there because I know he's going to be introducing himself a little bit later in the chat, in the workshop. So without any further ado, I'll go ahead and bring him up to the stage here. How's it going, Hamza? I'll just go ahead and take
Doing
you off
very
mute.
good. Oh,
All right.
okay. I'm unmuted. Hey,
I'll leave
Rosendo.
you to it.
Thank you for the intro.
No worries.
I'm Hamza. Nice to meet everyone. I'm based in New York, but right now I'm in my hometown of Leeds in North England, Yorkshire. In my childhood bedroom, actually, but you can't see that behind me. But yeah, I work at Adobe. I work on the Adobe Express team. And today I'll share more about Adobe Express, add-ons, and what they are, how you can use them, and how you can build them as well. So yeah, without much further ado, let's jump into a quick video to talk about what Adobe Express is, and then we'll dive into some more good stuff.
Welcome to the future. Let's go, let's get it. Won't stop, we just beginning. Came here, one goal to win it. Fight them right to the finish. Let's go, we on it. Toss people, power running. All eyes on this, just watch. Bet you can't guess what's coming next. Get ready, get ready, get ready, away. We on that next level. We up on that next. Up on that next. We up on that next. On that next. On that next. Pedal to the meadow. Get ready, away. We on that next level.
So you probably might recognize that outro song. It's from the Star Trek theme tune. But the topic which I'll talk about is Adobe Express, and the theme is space because the possibilities on what you can do with add-ons, how you can build them, how you can use them is limitless. There's so much which we'll cover today to make sure that you're aware of what it can do for you and also how you can use it as well. So without much further ado, let's jump into the agenda. So our itinerary, I shouldn't say agenda, is we'll cover a few things. So in the beginning, if you're not familiar with Adobe Express, that's fine. That's exactly what I'm here to do, to explain more about Adobe Express, what it is, why you should use it, why you should check it out. And then we also have 2 challenges, which kind of segue into the 2 topics as well, which I'll cover. So the first one is using Adobe Express add-ons. And the challenge there, which I'll touch on once we get to that point, is to use Adobe Express add-ons in action to build something, to try it out, play around. The second challenge is to create an add-on. And this is where we get deep into the juice of building using JavaScript, coding, and all of that good stuff as well. Don't let that deter you, by the way. It's very simple. And I'll walk you through all of those steps. My challenge today is to try and complete creating an add-on in 5 minutes. If I can do that in 5 minutes, I'll pat myself on the back, but we'll see. And then finally, at the end, I also want to make sure that we have an opportunity for you to ask any questions so that we can go over those and have those answered for you as well. So moving in to the Adobe Express platform, what is Adobe Express? Before I show you, there's 3 main things which you need to know. So the first thing is it's AI first. So you may have heard of Adobe Firefly and all of those cool AI features, which I'll share with you in just a sec. It has that. It's also awesome for creativity. So if you're building a poster, a flyer, a leaflet, a YouTube thumbnail, which I use it for all the time, a banner, a flyer, there's so many things which you can use it for. There's endless possibilities with Adobe Express. And finally, which is the last point, but also my favorite point about Adobe Express, is that it's available to all, regardless of your skill level. If you're a teacher who teaches students, if you're learning how to code and you want to try APIs and building an add-on, if you're a marketer looking to build something in Express like a flyer or something, it's available to you. There's so many entry points which are accessible to everyone on all different levels, which is what Adobe Express allows you to do. So I mentioned Adobe Firefly. This is where the AI for Adobe comes in. There's so many different types of things which you can do with Adobe Firefly within Adobe Express. And I'll show you the text to image one, which is my favorite. I think you'll be impressed once you take a look. But the few different ones which we have right now are text effects. So if you want to have like a diamond encrusted text on your image, you can do that. Text to image, just tell it, I want a starship in Mars, and then it'll make the image for you. Generative fill. So like this example is pretty good. So if I highlight the leaf and I say, make the leaf brown, it'll change the leaf to brown. And you can also add and remove things as well by just highlighting, and then it does a generative fill to remove, add, or change those as well. And a recent addition to the family of the API capabilities is text to image. So if you're on Express, I keep talking about it. I think I'm building up anticipation. In the next slide, we'll actually show you Express. But if you're in Express and you want to get started with a thumbnail video for YouTube, we have many different types of templates available. If you are looking through the templates and there's nothing that really stands out and your idea is a bit niche and you want to make sure that it's available and you don't have to start from scratch, you can actually ask the AI to build a template for you. Just describe what you'd like the template to be and it will build that for you so you have something to go from instead of just a blank canvas. So how does it work? Adobe Express, this is how it looks. So I'm going to open the Media tab, and then there's a text to image option. Within the field where it says, tell us what you want to create, I will type in the following prompt. And congratulations if you can understand my writing. Small stars with snow-covered mountains at bottom and solar sky system in sky. And then once I type in my prompt, even though it doesn't make sense to probably a regular human, Adobe Express understands exactly what I need. And once I click generate, it returns these incredible images, which I can choose from. So on the left, these are all the results that it generated using the AI model. And you can always pick and choose and load as many options as you'd like to find the one that fits your exact needs. So that brings me to the first challenge. Oh, let me just delete this. Adobe Express Add-ons Challenge 1. So the first challenge is to go onto Adobe Express, play around with an add-on, and I'll show you where to find them in just a moment, and see what you think. Try it out, see if you're able to find a cool add-on, which you can use to add an icon, to export to your Google Drive. There's so many different types. So that's the first challenge. It's a bit easy, I would say, but the whole point is to make add-ons a bit easier for people to interact with. So the challenge is just play around with an add-on, and the exact requirements for the challenge on where to upload the screenshot of you playing around will be on the normal place wherever the challenge details are posted. So let's show you a little bit more about add-ons, and I promise I'll dive into actually a live demo where I'm building an add-on, but that'll come in the next 10 or so minutes. But
With Adobe Express, you can quickly and easily create designs for social media, flyers, banners, invitations, and even videos. But while creating, you might, for instance, want more insights into how to improve the overall design of your project, or to just improve your user workflow. Well, look no further. With the power of Adobe Express add-ons, you can do exactly that. Here are just a few examples to demonstrate. Clipping Mask Pro offers an extensive library of clipping masks to make it easy to create unique and eye-catching designs. Another add-on you can use to spruce up your project is Space Fill, which auto-generates tiling and cell patterns for beautifying your background. Color Blindness Simulator can help you make your project more accessible by allowing you to quickly see how your project might look with different types of color blindness and adjust accordingly. These examples were possible with just the initial set of capabilities that add-ons can use. With additional APIs and capabilities coming soon, the possibilities to expand creative workflows for users are endless.
So that is what add-ons are essentially. There's so many different types of add-ons that are available on the marketplace today. They include storage connectors like Dropbox and Google Drive Box, I guess, which is different to Dropbox, OneDrive. There's so many different types. So those are storage connectors. You have ones which have icons. You have ones which export to different platforms to print them out if you want a picture in your house with the creation you made in Adobe Express. There's so many different ones which are available. I think I just mentioned 4 of them, but we have over too many to count. I can't remember the last count. It's just continuously going up. So how does Adobe Express work, and how can you use add-ons to leverage them to take advantage of Adobe Express? So as I mentioned, Adobe Express provides a lot of engaging and exciting templates that you can use. It also lets you take those templates and then customize them to fit your specific needs. So I found a template that looks good. I have an event, I should mention, at the planetarium, and it's going to be Halloween themed. So I'll be building my creation in Adobe Express using add-ons for that specific purpose. So now that I have the image already created using Firefly, I'll bring it in. So let's just, for the video's sake, imagine I stored it in my Google Drive. So I just go down to find my Google Drive within the add-on panel. Once I find Google Drive, I'll click Add, and then that adds it to my Adobe Express account, and I can access it very easily. Just as you see, it pops up on the right. And once I have it added, there's no installs, no windows for like login to do this and this before you actually access the add-on. It just pops up straight away. And then within the add-on, if it's authenticated, in this case, Google is authenticated, it asks me to log in. And then once I've logged in, and I'll go very quickly, I can very simply enter my email and password and then accept the terms to make sure that Google can display my images within my Google Drive. So this is just a test account. I have maybe 1 million images in my Google Drive, but the 2 which I need are right here. So the image I created previously shows up. And with this add-on, if you have 1 million pictures like me, you can also search, which makes it a lot easier. So I've added my add-on. You can click on it within the add-on window, or you could just drag and drop from the panel to the canvas. And I'll position it. There's a lot of helpful features like replacing the background. So I just click on that, and then it replaces the background image for me. Let's move on in creating my soon-to-be incredible social media post. So let's explore some of the other add-ons. I see one of this. One of this is a really cool add-on with 3D icons, and it's free, I believe. There's so many options to choose from, and they're broken into categories, which makes it easier. And if I want to search for a specific one, Halloween themed or space themed, it gives me some cool options that I can pick from. I like this alien. It seems space themed. So I'll add that into my creation. And once I've added as many as I would like and changed things up, there are other cool add-ons to help further my creation process of my cool social media flyer. And they're not just about adding things and changing things, but there's also really cool add-ons like this one called Color Blindness Simulator. And if you're not aware of color blindness types, there's a whole spectrum of different conditions for color blindness. I can't even pronounce half of them, but tryptonopia, which I probably pronounced wrong, is one of the options that I can click on. And it gives you, the add-on gives you an option to slide to preview how the add-on looks for that specific type of blindness and how it looks for normal sighted people as well. So once I have that visual defined to see how it looks for certain types of blindness, I can go back into my design to make changes, which will make my design stand out more for people with that specific type of blindness. And by doing that, it also helps other people generally by making it more accessible to see. So I like this font. It's a bit more thicker. It stands out. And I want to make it pop a little bit more. So I'll increase the font size and then just break it into a new line. And we'll call this Halloween at the Planetarium. Can also add text effects like shadows just to make it stand out that bit more. So if you're considering doing the challenge, this is exactly what the challenge is. So just add an add-on, I guess use an add-on and send us a screenshot of you using it within Adobe Express as well. And that's it. Like as soon as you do that, you've done one challenge. And then the next challenge will be a bit more hands-on. So if you do that, I'll be very impressed and we'll, you'll win the challenge basically if you complete that. But we'll get to that in about 10 minutes. So stay tuned. So I'm just making sure that my design pops a bit more. And now once I have the design ready, I'm ready to take it to the next level. And by taking it to the next level, I want to add audio to my image. So right now it's an image, but I can also convert that to a video. And with the video, I can add sound, which is exactly as it sounds. Imagine you're on Instagram and you click on a story and you see a promotion and it has audio. That's what I'll do. And there's a really cool add-on. I didn't even mention this. I apologize. It's called Well Said Labs. And this is exactly what it sounds like. It's an AI voice generated platform. And even though I say AI generated, it sounds very human. And we'll take a look at how those sound so you can actually believe me when I say that. So there's a bunch of options to choose from. And we can preview them.
Your creative life will evolve and
She sounds good. Let's see some other ones. And then we can also add multiple people and audition them so that if they sound more friendly or more appropriate for what we're trying to do, then you can pick between the different ones and hear them saying what you would like them to say. So I want them to say, Halloween at the Planetarium is literally out of this world. Get your tickets today. So I'm going to add people to audition. Jordan sounded good. Joe. And then let's also add Genevieve. And then we'll click Create Clips, which will add them to our queue and generate the audio. So let's listen.
Halloween at the Planetarium is literally out of this world. Get your tickets today.
Sounds good.
Halloween at the Planetarium is literally out of this world. Get your tickets today.
Halloween at the Planetarium is literally out of this world. Get your tickets today.
He sounds like he's been on the radio. So once you find the one you like, I think Jordan was probably the most appropriate. I can add it to my project. and it's automatically converted it to a video.
Halloween at the planetarium is literally out of this world. Get your tickets today.
And that's it. I converted my image to a video. I can use that video for endless amounts of things, and it was all very simple and easy to get set up. So now that I have my creation pretty much ready, there is another add-on which I would like to use to make sure my design pops as much as it could. It's called Attention Insights. This is such a cool add-on because it gives you details into where people will look in the design. You can choose what you're testing, if it's a video, flyer, or banner. And then it has some AI processing, which takes a few seconds to check your image and see where people will look and pay attention to, and give you a heat map as well. So once that's done, you'll be able to see exactly where people are going to look when they look at your social media post. What I like to do is I add this as a layer to the back of my image, and then I can also just toggle the opacity so that it's not visible, but it gives me like an idea of what I can change and adjust on the fly. So with that, I can see that it's doing pretty good. People are paying attention to the call to action at the top, which is good. And then now, once it's ready, I can share it to my social media platform of choice, or also download it as well so that I have it ready to share to my team, or to my social media team. I guess that's the only thing coming to mind. So I can share that with them from here as well in MP4 format and a bunch of other formats which you have access to. So that is the first challenge. So now moving into I don't want to sound biased because this is what I do every day, but the more fun part of the challenge, which is the second part for creating an add-on. Let's jump right in. So it's exactly as it sounds. We're going to be building an add-on from scratch. But before we do, let's talk a little bit more about why you would want to build in the first place. So whenever you're building an add-on, it's usually to solve a problem or to find a solution which you yourself face. So there's many different types of things that you can do to increase your reach and to make sure that other people have access to the problem which you're solving as well. So you can increase the amount of people who interact and use your product if you already have one, or you could even build something from scratch and go from that approach as well. Another thing, so Adobe Express gives you an incredible amount of access to the document. So you can change the text, you can add shapes to the canvas, which a lot of other platforms do not give you access to. I think they're very limited. They only let you add something to the page and that's it. So you have so much more control to the user's document, and it's very deeply integrated as well with our APIs as well. And then finally, I mentioned this in the beginning as the first reason, but it's also worthy of being its own. If you have your own workflow, let's say your team, your class, you have a certain process for doing things, you can create a custom workflow so that you don't have to keep repeatedly adding a watermark which says your name, for example. You could just build an add-on, and then whenever you are ready to share it and you want to add your watermark, you can just click on a button and it will add your watermark. It's very simple and straightforward. So those are some of the cool things which you can do. Also, I want to mention something awesome called the Adobe Fund for Design. So it's exactly as it sounds. We pay developers to build add-ons. So if you have an add-on idea and you're thinking about building an add-on, I strongly encourage you to apply for the Adobe Fund for Design so that you can get paid to build an add-on. And right at the end of the presentation, I'll share all the links as well. So you can check out applying for the Fund for Design. So there are a few use cases which we're prioritizing, but if your use case doesn't fall within this, that's completely fine. We still want you to apply because we'd love to know what you're building or thinking of building. So some of those include importing images, whether it be icons or graphics or anything of that sort. Exporting as well. So if your idea is to export the creation to a third-party surface. Let's say you want to print an image of your design and have it easily connect to a print shop. That could also be a cool use case. AI guidance. I shared this at the end of the add-on showcase. It's a little bit confusing, but I think the best way to describe it is using AI to guide the design. So with color blindness, with attention insights, that told me exactly where people are paying attention to within my design so that I know where to focus more of my keywords and call to actions and all of that stuff. And that uses AI. So that's some of the AI guidance stuff. Accessibility is also very important with add-ons. So I mentioned color blindness simulator, which gives you an insight into all the various types of color blindness and how they perceive vision and different types of color combinations. So accessibility, it doesn't have to be about color blindness, but it could be about anything related to accessibility. And then finally, presentations and docs. So there are a lot of things that you can do in Adobe Express, including building presentations and documents. So if your add-on helps enable the creation or facilitates things in that way, that's also a use case which we would love to hear more about and potentially fund for you as well. So before we go into building an add-on, there are a few key technologies which are important to know about. It doesn't mean that you have to be a coder who knows all of React and all of Angular, all of those different things. As long as you have a good sense of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you should be good. So no need to know about recursion or binary trees or any of that stuff. It's going to be very straightforward. It's a simple web development process. So don't let that worry you. But having some familiarity in these three things is going to be really helpful for you as well. And finally, prerequisites. So this is more for your system, your laptop or your desktop, whatever you use. You have to have NPM version 8 or above. And then also Node.js version 16 or above. These are kind of old, by the way, but just make sure that you have those versions. And then finally, an Adobe account in order to access Express. It is free to make an Adobe account. So yeah, just make sure you have one and you can start building add-ons. And before we dive into the demo, I should mention I'm going to try and do it in 5 minutes, but because I'll be coding live, you never know what's going to happen. So I'll set a timer. Hopefully I can make it within 5 minutes. Worst case, if I don't, I think I have enough time. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Rosendo, I think I might need your help in just a minute. And then I'll share the screen for my coding stuff. So just bear with me for a few seconds. Okay, share screen. Entire screen, screen 2. And I think it's sharing. Okay. Rosendo's behind the scenes working his magic. So I can't see you, but I know you're there. Thank you so much. So let's start building an add-on. So the first place you'd want to begin is the first place you would normally start on the documentation. So I'm going to go a whole level up because I see I have time. And by the way, the 5-minute timer has not started. I'm gonna try my best, but once we do start, you'll know. So let's go into Google. I told you we're going really high up. So type in Adobe stock, Adobe Express developer. And then from there, I won't click sponsored. I don't want Adobe to get charged. Let's click add-ons. And then this takes you to our documentation. You can explore all of the cool things which you can do. I'm going to click get started. And then from here, you have some cool videos from me. Should check them out. And then there's also more quick start stuff to get you started. So before I do time, I'm going to open up a timer. Okay, let's just see. Oh, there's a nice one here. Let's reset. Okay, I just need to catch my breath before I begin. Have some water. Okay, so let's go. So timer's going, I can see it right here. So in order to make my first add-on, what I'll do is I'll make a quick start, very simple hello world add-on. So within our docs, I clicked on get started, quick start, and I see step 1, very straightforward. There's a command which I can copy into my terminal. Let's just pull up my terminal. Where did that go? Okay, now I'll make this bigger as well. It's a bit small. Oh God, I feel pressure because the time is going. Okay, so I set up my repo, by the way. It's MLH Workshop. This is my command. I'll just click enter. And it's making a call to this npm package. It's going to be called hello world, just very simple. And there's a bunch of different templates you can choose from. This one is JavaScript. If you like to use React, we also have React. There's also TypeScript. And let me just take a look. So there's a few things which I have to do. It's saying we suggest you begin by typing cd hello world. That just means change directory and then hello world. And if you type in the first letter like H and then press tab, it autofills for you. So now that I'm in there, I press ls to list all of the files. I can see everything looks good. And then we'll start building, and I'll actually open VS Code so you can see what it looks like in just a moment. But first, let's start building it and then running it locally so you can actually see it with your own 2 eyes. So this runs a build, and then once the build is ready, we can start the connection from our local machine to the browser, which will make sense once I show it to you. So let's get going. So npm run start, it successfully is running. It's hosted on this port 5241. This will be important in just a second, so I'll mention that when it comes. So now let's go over to Express. So once I have Express open, express.adobe.com, you'll see the landing page, which is for Express. And then on the top right, click on your icon, click on Settings. And then from there, there's a switch called Add-on Development. So I have that clicked, turned on. And now I'll just start a new document. This is the cheat code, by the way, but if you add /new, it just opens up a new document for you. Once you have it open, let's click on Add-ons on the left side. And then on the top, click on your add-ons. And down here, you'll see add-on testing. And then if you click on that, most of the time it shows your server as it should be, which was 5241. Let me just go back to, 5241. Looks good. And then you just have to check the box and then click connect. The only time where it won't say 5421 is if you're running something else on there, which is not very likely. I don't think people often use that port. So it might say the next number up if that's the case. So now my add-on is loaded. It's a very simple one. It says hello world. And then it opens up on the right. It says create rectangle. So it's very simple. So I'm actually very impressed. I did it in 3-something minutes. But this is very boring. I didn't really code. So let's go back into VS Code. Let's open up VS Code to begin with. So VS, actually, I'll show you a cool shortcut if you're not aware. So in terminal, because it's running the server, it's a bit hard to run a command like open VS Code. So if you press Command T or Control T on Windows, just type in code period, and then it should open VS Code. It's just opened on my other window, so I can see my code on the left, which is awesome. So there's 2 files which are here. So there's src, which is the one that we want, and then there's dist. So when I ran the command npm run build, it basically just made the dist file, which is the production code, which is showing up within here. So any changes I make will be in src, not inside dist. So first thing, let's see, what shall we add or change about this add-on? So the first thing I dislike is it's very generic. It says hello world. Shall we change the title? I think we should. Let's go into the manifest file. Over here, we can change the title. So let's call it goodbye world. And I'll increase the size so you can see. And all I did was just type it and press Command S. Oh, my timer's gone. It keeps beeping. Okay, sorry, that was annoying. I don't know if you can hear it, but it was showing up. So let me just jump back into VS Code. All I did was save it, and right away, with the manifest file, it takes a hard refresh. Just click refresh. But whenever you make changes outside of the manifest file, it updates straight away. So the title has been updated to Goodbye World. This uses something called the document sandbox, which gives you more access to the document. So you can see I'm adding to the canvas. Let's say I want to add a different shape. I don't like squares, I like circles. So let's go back to our code, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So within the, I'll walk you through all of it actually. So we have the index file, which like a regular HTML file, it shows you all of the panel. So if I change this text right here, let's call it create a circle. Oh, circle. And then if I go back to here, like I said, okay, I'm right. It automatically updates. And I'll try to show you that in real time. So just drag this down. So notice the create a circle. If I change this to do, it took a second, but it changed. So it does change. So let's change that back to create a circle. So that's the panel as in the HTML file. And then this calls a script in the index.js file. So if I go up to the index.js file, this calls a function called create rectangle, which is where it currently creates a rectangle. So if I go back, this is a rectangle. I want to change this to a circle. So let's go to find where that is being done. So within the sandbox, we have a file called code.js. And I'll walk you through this. I'm actually doing really well on time, which is shocking. I never do. So at the top, we're importing the add-on SDK. And then we're also importing a class from the Express document SDK. So this is the document APIs, which gives you more granular detail to the canvas to add, change text, add shapes, change shapes, so much. So I'm going to call the editor function. And if I walk through the way it is currently set up now, so we have the function, it calls the sandbox API, and the function is called create rectangle, which we have exported into the other index.js, which is just here. So now if I jump back, and I'll try and stay on this page so it's less back and forth, but we can see the rectangle is being established here, and it's calling the editor class, which we imported right at the top. And there's a function called create rectangle. So I already know like all the different options, but if you want to check out what types of things there are available, on our docs, we have really cool SDK references, which you can learn more about and see what types of things are available. So click on the document sandbox and then also the document APIs. And there are so many different types of classes. The one that we wanted was editor. So clicking on editor. And the one that we're using right now is create rectangle. So I'll just copy that and then easily find that here. So let's see what else there is. There's create text, create path, create line, create ellipse. I think that's the one that I want. So what I'll do is, I don't recommend, but I'm going to just copy and paste and change the name of things. So let's go back to our code. And before I replace it entirely, I'll just paste it and then rename things as I go. So we'll call this one circle because it's going to be a circle. And then instead of create rectangle, I want to make sure I don't have any typos. So copy that here. So instead of create rectangle, create ellipse. And another cool thing as well, so if you're not sure about what it is, you can just type period, and then it will give you all the classes which you can check out if you don't want to go on the docs. But of course, you should go on the docs. That's what we recommend. So I'll save that. I need to define the rectangle, the circle dimensions. So if I go back, I can actually click into the ellipses, and it gives me all the types of things I could do. Bounds on like where it is on the page, fill for like the color, ID if I want to give it a specific ID. So if I make any changes later on, I know which one. And let's see, is there fill? I'm just looking for fill. Fill. Oh yeah, I scroll past it. So fill is the same. So what I'll do, I jumped ahead. This is the fill. The width and the height. So let's go back to the docs. Okay, where is it? It's in here somewhere, but I don't want to bore you by trying to find exactly where. But I'll jump back. So, oh, I think I saw it. Okay, never mind. So let's just copy this, and then I'm just going to replace it with circle. For some reason, my code prettier or ESLint thing is not working. It normally makes it nicer. So, okay, my circle will be 240. I think that's kind of big. Let's change it to, we'll just keep it. Okay, and then let's say the height as well. Let's change that to 240. So we have the width and the height of the circle defined. The translation, this is where the position of the shape will be. So, oh, copied. I'll change this. Let's change this to circle translation. I'm going to copy and paste because I always have typos and it messes things up. So instead of it being the exact same position, so if I go back, I'll see if it works, if it gives me an error because I'm making changes. I have code which is not saved properly. So let me just keep going. But whenever oh, it worked. Okay, well, never mind. So when I create the shape, it adds it to this position, which is, I guess, 10, 10. So if I change this, I'm just going to use a rectangle as an example. Let's change that to 20, 20. It will nudge it slightly. So let's say I want to change it to, change that back. Let's change the circle to 100. We'll see. And then we'll keep going. So now I know where the circle will be. The color, I'll make them both the same color. This is where it gets confusing, so try to bear with me. The colors are RGBA, so if you know about RGBA, it's not like a whole science that you have to know, but RGBA picker. It gives you the colors broken down by the red, green, black, and so on. So if I find a color which I like, let's say, oh, this is cool. So I'll just copy this, but I'm not going to use this because the way that it wants me to define these is a number between 0 and 1. And it's very confusing, but watch this and hopefully it'll make sense. So what I do is, because there's a total of 256, I'll paste in the red and automatically red, green, blue, aqua, I believe. Yeah. That's the way it's going to be here. So I'll divide that by 256. So I'll just copy that. And then the next one, as I go, what was that? 24 divided by 256. And then the blue was 217. Oh, I know it's just one number, but I'm curious to see if it changes anything. And then alpha is already 1, so I don't need to change that. It has to be between 0 and 1. So let's keep going. We have the color defined. I'll just delete this. And then now that I have the color specified to that specific shade, or like slightly off because I changed the blue, we'll assign it to the fill for the shape. So I'm just going to copy and paste, and then we'll call this one circle. Oh wait, circle. Okay. And then whenever I assign the fill to the circle, I'm going to use that. So circle.fill equals, and just use the top one as a reference as well. So now I have the shape defined, the position, and the color. so we're all good. So now we can do the fun part, which is inserting it into the page. We don't need to duplicate this as well because we can use this for the circle and the rectangle. So let's see, circle. Okay, if I've done everything right, it should work. Did I save it? I think I had a typo somewhere. Okay, wait, let's just go back. This is really good for debugging, by the way. So if I refresh my add-on and then click, okay. So before we click the button, let me just cross my fingers. Okay, it's not a perfect circle, but it did show up. So we added a circle. We used our add-on and we made something useful. If you have an add-on which needs to have a circle, then that's cool. If I want to delete the rectangle or just not have it show up because I only want circles, just comment that out as well. And that's basically it. I think what I'll do now is I have 15 minutes. I think I should be able to do it. I will show you how to share an add-on. Let's say you're building a really cool add-on with your friend who's in Germany, for example, and you want to be able to share your creation, but you don't want to publish it to the marketplace because the whole world will see. You'd rather just share it with your friend because you have your reasons. You don't need to explain. Let's go back into how you can do that. So now that I have my circle add-on, which adds a purple circle, what I'll do is I'll go back to our command line, and I should actually bring up our docs as well. That's probably the best place. So we have a guide. It's called distribute and then overview. So creating a private link, that's what it is. And there's a command which I should run, which will give me the code necessary to be able to share a private link as well. So my server is running. I'll stop that here. I just pressed Control-C, and then I'll just paste in the command npm run package. And what that does, it makes a zip file of the dist. And if you want to open your Finder window, by the way, that's how you can do it. Just type in open period, and then it shows up. And this is the file it just made, dist.zip. So why do you need this file? I'll explain to you in just a sec. So now, once you have your add-on packaged and zipped up, the way that you share it is you go back to the main window, click on add-ons on the left, and then in development add-ons. And this is where only I run into the issue. I'm going to switch my accounts. Because I have an Adobe account, it is very strict. So I have a different instance running in a different browser. So I'll switch over to that. So with my in development add-ons, this is what you should see. And then click on create new. We'll give this a name. It has to be unique, but I'll just call it tester 1, 2. Nobody's going to have this. And then once it's verified that no one else has this, click on create. And then this is where you would create the private link. So click on create, and the zip file goes here. So I'm bad at finding exactly where the file is. So I'm just going to try and drag and drop. Okay, so I have my dist. Get rid of that. We have my dist.zip. I'm going to drag it there. Okay, it's all good. You can add test notes. It's not required because this is just a private link, but I'll just say circle. Try this out, circle. You can add an icon. Again, it's not required because it's it's just for private links. And then once that's done, click on save and create private link. And now your friends in Germany or Japan or India, wherever they are in the world, can access your add-on using that link that you just made. So I already have logged in, but if I send you this link, you can try out my cool circle add-on. This is in a different window, so this is Brave. Let me just jump back into Chrome. And that's here. And what I'll do, I'll just paste my add-on. And there we go. And if I click on release info, try this out circle, click on add, and there we go. This is not in development, by the way. My server is not running. It's just in the internet now. so the whole world can see. And there we go. My off-centered circle is there. So that's it. That's how you share your add-ons as well. So the challenge, I should mention, is to just get to the stage where you can run the add-on in Hello World. So I'm giving you all the answers here. You should not fail this challenge unless you have like a development package issue, which I understand. Click on Quick Start. Just copy and paste this into your terminal, and that's it. You have your add-on running. You'll need to run the npm run start, npm run build, but that's it. That's how you run an add-on using Hello World. So let me just switch back to my slideshow. I have a few more slides, and then I think we're good for Q&As. So bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so there were some fails, but nothing too big. I was doing this demo last time, and I kept spelling circle incorrectly, and it was so embarrassing. But the more you know. Okay, so I should also mention there are a bunch of awesome resources. It's a bit slow, I guess, because it's sharing the screen. But there are some awesome resources which I want to point out for you. So once this decides to load, you can see. We'll give it a sec. If it doesn't, we'll just skip. Well, we'll just, I'll show you them. It probably is better. So if I go over to YouTube, we have some really cool, we have some really cool videos. Add-ons, Hamza. Okay, I'm just gonna get there quickly. Okay, I was too presumptuous. Adobe Express. There we go. So we have a playlist from start to finish. So I showed you how to do a Hello World, but there's so many different steps to it as well. So if I go into Adobe developers playlists, this is where it is. Creating your first add-on. And it goes through the whole process, how to make your first add-on, which I literally just showed you. Second thing is to make it more advanced, how to use different APIs to do things. Design is a big thing. My add-on is very ugly, so I'm sure you could design it better. But I go over how to make designs look nicer. And then also testing and debugging, and then finally sharing your add-ons as well with the rest of the world, or with your friend if you want to just do it privately as well. Another thing which I also want to share is, just go back, our documentation. I can just easily get that. So we have some really cool docs which go over how to get started. We have the API reference, which show you the different classes, APIs, all of that good stuff. And then finally, I'll see if my slides decide to work with me, but just go back. Okay, maybe I should just be slow. Oh, okay, it's kind of working. Okay, thank God. Oh, okay, that's it. That's all that we're going to cover. I want to make sure that we have a chance for Q&A. I haven't been able to see the screen because my monitor is behind something. So if there were any questions that came up, please let me know. And if you'd like to learn more, scan this QR code. It takes you to a link tree which goes over more about the resources available, the Adobe Fund for Design to get paid to build add-ons. Apply for that because we're accepting people to get grants to build add-ons. And then there's also the tutorial videos, which I mentioned, and a bunch of other cool stuff as well. So the Fund for Design is dropped in below. I'll share the link to the link tree. Let me just see if I can quickly find it. Share, copy. Just make sure it's the right one before I do. Okay. I'll just leave it on the screen. So I'll drop that in the channel. And then Rosendo, if you could pin this one as well, that would be awesome. But yeah, I think that's everything. If there were any questions, please let me know. We also have so many options available to reach out to the Adobe team, myself, my colleagues, everyone else who works on building the Adobe Express platform. We have weekly office hours where you can join us to ask any questions, to learn more about the new updates and events and cool stuff which are happening. Sorry, not weekly, they're monthly. So the next one is in 2 weeks. And then the next one after that is in August, and so on and so forth. We also have a developer Discord. So if you have any questions, if you want to check out what people are talking about, join the Discord as well. It's where you can find other like-minded developers and a good community of people as well. And I'm also on there, so that's also it's not a plus, but yeah, I'll be on there too. And then finally, at the bottom, apply for the Fund for Design. That's where you can learn more about the Fund for Design, apply for consideration, see if your idea passes, and go from there. But other than that, if there aren't any questions, thank you so much for your time. And hopefully I'll see you in another office hours session this month or on Discord as well. But yeah, Rosendo, how are we looking? Do we have any questions which came up?
Yeah, sure. Let me just put some up on the screen, the ones that I did find from earlier. So the Unbeaten 7 asks, is Adobe Express similar to Figma but with extra tools?
So short answer is no, but it also depends on what you want to use it for. It's not for building like mock-ups or interfaces. It's more for designing flyers and thumbnails, videos, reels, TikToks, all of those things as well. My colleagues will probably kill me for saying this, but if it was closely similar to other platforms, I would say it's closely similar to Canva. Everyone knows Canva, so it's more aligned with Canva instead of Figma in terms of the features and stuff you can do.
Awesome. And this looks like the last one. Actually, the Unbeaten 7 again is wondering whether or not you could use the API within the code that you were running earlier.
Yeah. So with the code I was running, I actually used the APIs. I was importing the API directly from the add-on SDK. So it's not like the full path which you could see, but it is there. If you have any questions specifically about what types of APIs are available, let me know. There are so many. There's importing. If you want to add an icon to the page, that's an API called import. There's export if you want to save the design to a Google Drive or to your own website as well. That's export. The one that I showcased is the document sandbox, which gives you access to draw things, to add shapes, to change text, fonts, all of that stuff. So there's so many APIs available, and yeah, hopefully you can have your hands full with all the potential.
Awesome. And it looks like that's it for questions. Just wanted to say thank you again for joining us. This was a really informative session. I know some folks were joining in there midway through. If you were not able to catch the beginning of the session, it's definitely going to be recorded. So you'll find the recording on our YouTube channel. Alternatively, you could wait a little bit and find the live recording of the stream via Twitch as well. But if you have any other questions, you can just join us on the Discord channel, and we'll be sure that the Adobe team gets a hold of your questions as well. Once again, you know, the link tree is there. There's also a LinkedIn group that you can join if you have any additional questions or just more information that you wanted to find out about Adobe Express add-ons and just interacting with the Adobe team in general. But outside of that, yeah, it's been a really great session. Really appreciate you taking the time, Hamza. I know you're joining from your childhood home there.
Childhood bedroom as well.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure for some of the folks, it wouldn't be lost on them to see you coming full circle. Probably the room that you learned how to code. Now you're showing other people how to code from it as well. So really great stuff. Once again, thanks for joining us at Global Hack Week season launch. Thanks again to the folks from Adobe. Keep it locked in because we have a Tetris tournament coming up right after this. Outside of that, yeah, we'll see you later. Thanks so much again, and appreciate it. Take it easy, y'all.
Thank you. Take care.